皆様ごきげんよう。Jcu Insight立て続けにお送りします。今回はですね、カッシュ・パテルさん、もうアメリカにおける特にトランプ政権の情報部門のですね、もうスペシャリストと言っていい方だと思います。で、もともと弁護士でらしたんですけれども、さまざまな、例えば最初は下院の情報特別委員会の補佐官、そして、有名な NSC、さらにはですね、国家情報庁ですねのリチャード・グレネルの補佐官をされ、そして最後は国防長官の補佐官をされるという、もう安全保障と情報部門ではもうこの方は右に出る方はないというような方なので、今日はこの方にですね、今この数年間アメリカでいろいろ起きている皆さんがもやもやしていることについて真相をズバッと伺ってみたいというふうに思っています。
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with CPAC Japan, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
じゃあもう本当お忙しいと思うので早速伺いたいと思います。
Let's do it.
もうあなたは情報のスペシャリストでいらっしゃるので、もう今アメリカはもちろんですけど、日本の国民みんなもやもやしていることについてズバッと伺いますので、ぜひ我々に真相を教えていただきたいと思います。まず最初に伺いたいことが、2021年の1月6日の国会議事堂の襲撃事件についてです。あそこで最近非常に話題になっているのがですね、ペロシ元下院議長がいわゆるですね、下院の守衛官に対して当日は州兵を入れるなと。で、議事堂警察に指示して、とにかくデモに参加する人たちが議事堂に入りやすいように手招きしたり、いろんなことをやっていたというような証拠映像とかがバンバン公開され始めているんですけれども、この議事堂事件についての真相について、あなたがまず言いたいことがあればぜひ教えてください。
Yeah, absolutely. So I was chief of staff at the Department of Defense on January 6th, and I'd been in the Oval Office with President Trump with his national security team a few days before that, where President Trump authorized up to 20,000 National Guardsmen and women for any events related to January 6th. Why that's important is because under U.S. law, the president can only authorize it. There then must be a request, and in this instance for the District of Columbia, it must come from Mayor Bowser or Nancy Pelosi, who was the Speaker of the House, to request that law enforcement, because our Supreme Court forbids the domestic deployment of the United States military. Now it's come out, the truth finally, in writing, Mayor Bowser and Nancy Pelosi refused the request of assistance via National Guardsmen and women, which of course degraded the security posture in and around the Capitol. And I do believe it was for political purposes, but I do believe Donald Trump acted proactively and preemptively to secure the area, and had they taken his authorization for the National Guard, we probably wouldn't be here talking about January 6th.
1月6日の真相について、下院議長に就任したケビン・マッカーシーはですね、もうこれは下院議長になる公約として、もう必ずこの真相を突き止めますというふうに約束もしていて、この実際何が行われたかの映像を公開するということで、なんとFOX のタッカー・カールソンにこの分析を依頼しているわけですけれども、それにもいろいろ妨害に遭っているようですけれども、この真相はちゃんと今回、暴かれることになると思いますでしょうか。
Yeah, what I say about that is, whether you know anything about January 6th or not, as a former federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice, it's shocking to me for 2 years that prosecutors have told the world that there's 17,000 hours of video footage. 2 years later, Speaker McCarthy, and I don't believe he has any reason to lie about this, says there are 41,000 hours of videotape footage. That's 2.5 times the amount of evidence that's been withheld, not just from the January 6th defendants, but from the world. I do believe Speaker McCarthy, and hopefully we'll start seeing some of that release this week on Tucker's show, and thereafter, and I have called for this publicly, that 41,000 hours of footage needs to be released to the world to see and digest, so they can view on their own, because there is no better evidence. We have the videotape from that day with audio, and hopefully within the next month or two, it's all released, so that not just the January 6th defendants can benefit and have their due process rights upheld, but so that the world can see who acted, and were there any improper actions for the FBI, for undercover sources, and for the United States government overall.
もう本当真相が究明されることを心から願っています。じゃあもう時間もないので、次の論点いきたいと思います。あなたは 以前トランプ大統領からもうウクライナ政策の専門家というふうにも言われているぐらい、ウクライナ問題についても通じていらっしゃると思います。
So look, from a national security posture, you know, in our generation, having lived through the war in Afghanistan for 20 years, what you never want to do is commit yourself to another world war of that type where so many thousands of Americans will perish, not to mention the trillions of dollars. Now, that scenario is different because we were attacked by al-Qaeda from within Afghanistan and other regions here in America. The Ukraine scenario is completely different, but my fear is this administration is committing us to another war effort that is going to put American service members on the ground in the very near future, because the machinery and the amount of money we've sent there, it doesn't operate itself. The folks aren't trained by themselves. There isn't a replacement force that can supplant the United States of America when it comes to our defense systems that we've given them. So I think you've seen the distinction. President Trump stayed in America last week and was giving out water, food, and aid in East Palestine, Ohio. And Joe Biden was in Europe committing billions of more American taxpayer dollars and likely American service members to that effort. And I just don't think that the United States needs to be in that effort. There's too much work left to be done at home. And that's what Donald Trump is brilliant at highlighting, the America First mission.
私も全く同感です。